Let's start with the sort of basic concepts. The Freudian concepts of the mind is that the mind is like an iceberg, and the tip of the iceberg above the waves is the conscious thinking mind. The part of the mind that we use to analyze, as you're listening to me now, you're analyzing and thinking with the tip of the mind. That is about 0.01% of our mental capability. So the vast bulk of the iceberg beneath the conscious mind, beneath the waves, is the subconscious, also known as the unconscious. The Americans tend to call it the unconscious. In the UK, we tend to say subconscious. This is the 99.9% of the mind that we don't overtly use on a day-to-day basis. It's actually the engine room of the mind, and this is one reason why hypnotherapy is so powerful, because when we go into trance, we start using the engine room of the mind, the powerhouse of the mind. The subconscious is the seat of our emotions, the seat of our intuition. So as you and your viewers are listening to me talking, the conscious mind is analyzing, but they'll also be intuiting under the surface. Does this feel right? Does this fella feel right in what he's saying? Can I trust what he's saying? And that's all happening subconsciously. The subconscious is the seat of our imagination, the seat of our creativity. And in my opinion, it contains all the memories that go way, way back through time. My belief, having done this work for so long, is that we all have a higher self. And my belief is that the higher self is the all-knowing, all-wise part of us. I believe that either is the subconscious mind or may be intimately connected to the subconscious. So when we're working with the subconscious part of the mind, we're working with the wise part of the mind that understands the client, knows what's best for the client. Now, in terms of things like the id and the ego, superego, etc., then we really don't look at those in regression. Those are really from a Freudian perspective. Freud came up with these ideas that we have an ego, etc., etc. But from a regression perspective, there's no real value in them, whether they're real or not, because the regression concept is very simple. All of our issues are caused by locked-in feelings and emotions from past traumas, or sometimes we need to get understanding from the past about something that makes sense of something now. In terms of higher than that, the soul, well, I can only go by what comes through in my client sessions and what I've read over the years. Nobody truly knows, of course. But the concept is that we have the physical body. When we die, we leave the physical, our light body, our astral body, goes into spirit world. And that's where our soul group is, the group of souls who have been around us over many lifetimes in different ways. And our soul is our sort of where we're totally free. And, when people go when they go through a regression death in a past life, and they just feel so free and so peaceful to be away from the restrictions of being in this body and all the nonsense that goes on here on planet Asylum.
So what would you say the common misconception is about hypnosis?
Great question. It's not sleep. It's not coma. So, one of the problems is many people see stage hypnotists at work. And stage hypnosis is really about, in my opinion, perverting the beauty of hypnosis because it's making fools of people. And of course, ultimately, unfortunately nowadays, quite a lot of stage hypnosis is what I call gutter hypnosis. It's disgusting. It is utterly disgusting. It's utterly demeaning to women. They'll do all sorts of filthy, disgusting things on stage. I just think that's not right. So, but people see the stage hypnotist go sleep, and of course everybody flops down, and so they think everybody's asleep. They're not asleep. You could use the word duckbill platypus, and people would still go into trance. So, but people think it's sleep, and of course hypnosis is the Greek god of sleep, and the Victorian medic who created the concept of hypnosis, or hypnotism as he called it, pretty soon realized he'd given it the wrong word, but by that time it had become common parlance, so it was too late to change it. But the word I use a lot is trance. Okay, so hypnotic trance. Now, what is a trance? when we're in trance, we're just in a state of inner focus generally. But when we go into hypnosis, we're not asleep, we're not under a coma, we're not under anything. People always use this word under, which really cheeses me off. In fact, the strapline on the book, Adventures of a Hypnotherapist, was I under? Because the number of times at the end of a session with one of my clients, I'll bring them out of trance and they'll say, well, I don't think I was under. I could hear what you were saying. Or I could have opened my eyes if I wanted. It's like a red rag to a bull, the word under, to a hypnotherapist. You don't go under hypnosis, you go into hypnosis. You don't go under trance, you go into trance. But of course, being under implies being under anaesthetic as well. So many people think that when you're in hypnosis, you're completely gone. You just lay there with your eyes closed, with your tongue hanging out and dribble coming down the side of your chin. That's not hypnosis. Hypnosis is trance, is a state of relaxation, inner relaxation, where we become more focused. And when we become more focused, that's when the subconscious mind is more able to come through. So just a few examples of everyday trance. Daydreaming. And most of us daydream at least 24 times a day, okay? And that's a trance state. Going on automatic pilot in the car, driving without realizing you're driving. That's trance, that's hypnosis. Drifting into sleep, drifting out of sleep, that's trance. Focusing on something, focusing on a book or a movie, that's trance. You and I, we're in trance now. We are focusing on this conversation. We're not thinking about what we've got to cook for dinner later or the email we've got to write. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully you're listening to me.
or even getting your name right? Like all of those
that
things.
would be a thing.
So trance is natural, and I always want my clients to understand it's a natural process. Meditation is trance. So what tends to happen is people think trance is something other than what it is. They think it's something paranormal. It isn't. It's just a normal state. It's an everyday occurrence. It's just that in a hypnotherapy setting, we tend to emphasize the relaxational elements and the closing the eyes down and going inside. But we're still in control. We still know what's going on when we're in trance. We can still hear the traffic going past or the dog barking next door or whatever. We can still think, what are we going to, what's happening now? Although some people do go very deep into trance and their conscious thinking mind does tend to slow down a little bit. But for most of us, we're still very mentally active, you could say. But that trance, that inner state, allows the subconscious to come. You could say it comes from the back part to the front part of the mind. Because if our conscious mind holds it at bay all the time by chattering all the time and analysing and looking and being aware, once we close our eyelids, the conscious mind has got nothing to do, really. And so it slows down quite naturally. And then the subconscious it's like a flower. It's been overshadowed by this conscious mind. The conscious drifts off and the sunlight reaches the subconscious, and like a flower, it just opens out.
Steve, people needed to hear that, because the amount, even for meditation, which I do some guided meditations for people, and I'm like, just daydream into it. Don't try and make a fuss about this. And I love the fact that you had likened it to, stepping away from being under something, because that implies that the person is out of control and that somehow
under the control of the therapist.
Exactly. And I think that is another fear or another hurdle to,
because many people are controllers,
right?
And they need to be in control, and they think, I'm going to lose control if I go to see the hypnotherapist. No, you ain't. Not at all.
Well, you heard it here, folks.
I was going to ask. Some people seem to enter I'm not going to say hypnosis anymore, trance very easily, and other seems to be more resistant. Why is that?
Good point. Right. There tend to be 4 what I call abilities in terms of going into trance. Some people would use the word susceptibilities, but that's negative. No, these are abilities. And about 25 to 30% of people are naturally very good at trance. At least 1 in 4, maybe 1 in 3 of people, I call these number ones. And these are people who are just very good at trance. Number twos are people who are good at trance. They don't go in quite as easily into trance as number ones, but they can get there quite quickly. Most people in number threes just average at hypnosis. So when they're in trance, they just lay there relaxing and the conscious mind is still ticking over. Number fours are people who just crap at hypnosis. It just doesn't suit them. Very few, because we can all go into trance, because we all go into trance naturally, but for people who are controllers, it's often a controlling male, to be honest, because men can be so damn controlling, I'm sorry to say. So most people who struggle with hypnosis refuse to let go. They're just scared, or they just can't let go. But with the people who are very good at hypnosis, these are the people that stage hypnotists will use. So stage hypnotists, before the act, will get as many people up on stage as possible to do a hypnotic test. We call it a suggestibility test. Maybe the hands will get stuck together. 3/4 of the people, when the hypnotist says, try and pull your hands apart, you won't be able to. The hands come apart. 25 to 30% of people go, oh shit, my hands are stuck together. Oh. And they're the 1 in 4s, they're the number ones. And then the stage hypnotist uses what we call shock tactic hypnosis.